Hey guys, Al DeMarco here, General Manager at DeMarcoSports.com, and this is going to be your Monday video report. I've got a couple of complimentary NBA plays coming your way for this Monday night card. Out in the West, the top two teams there, the Thunder and the T-Wolves, are going to meet up for the fourth time this season. I've got a free play and the breakdown of that game. And then another very interesting clash. The past two NBA champions meeting in Denver, the Bucks and the Nuggets taking on each other. Doc Rivers making his debut as Milwaukee's new coach. Going to break down that game as well for you. First, though, a little recap of what happened yesterday in the championship games. Of course, another complimentary winner here for me in the NFL. Now 45, 23, and 1 with the NFL free picks over the past 15 weeks as I cashed in with the Lions. Did I lose my best bet with the Ravens yesterday? Yes, I did. But listen, if you happen to get that play, you saw exactly what I wrote. I have been on a red hot roll, not only in college basketball after cashing in with another top rated 15 dime best bet with South Carolina over Missouri on Saturday, but in the NBA, where, for example, tonight I've got top rated 15 dime NBA best bet winner number 17 out of 22 over the past 10 weeks, going on the Clippers and Cavaliers. But, the previous Sunday I had cashed in with the Lions. I always believe that when you've accumulated bankroll and you're on a red hot roll, that's when you press the action. That's how you build little baby bankrolls into bigger bankrolls. And if you don't press the action, what the hell are you doing gambling? You just can't be conservative. When you find your spots, you've got to take your shots. That rhymes. I like that. We should coin that maybe. Just a thought. Good T-shirt, right? A little catchphrase. Find your spots, take your shots. Maybe that'll be my new logo here on the thing. I don't know. But anyway, listen, and it didn't work out. But as I like to also say, this morning I woke up and the sun still rose in the east and it's going to set in the west where I am today. So that's life. Sometimes the games just don't play out the way you bet them. So let's review what happened yesterday. Listen, I still don't think Kansas City has played a good offensive team here in the postseason. Dolphins, injury riddled. Bills, did they play that well against Kansas City? I mean, And the Ravens certainly didn't, because yesterday you saw, Lamar Jackson is not a classic drop back passer. And yet I don't understand what was going on in the second half of that game. And even early in the first half of that game where Baltimore simply abandoned its ground game. Makes no sense to me. And, you can't handicap turnovers. That's the reality. What did the Ravens have? 3 turnovers yesterday, 2 of them the costly ones on that stunted a couple of drives. And then the penalties, I think they had 8 or 9 yesterday. What are you going to do? Lost the game. And again, that Kansas City offense still has not impressed me in the postseason or all season long. Now, in terms of the other games, San Francisco and Detroit, everybody's talking today about Dan Campbell and the controversial calls when he went forward on constant fourth down situations. But listen, the Lions would not have advanced to this stage if Campbell wasn't balls in all the time, because they probably wouldn't have won a couple of games that they shouldn't have during the regular season. And yesterday was a classic case of traditional play calling versus analytics. And from a betting perspective, of course, if you had San Francisco, you were thrilled that he passed up that field goal attempt late in the game. Of course, you were also pissed off then when they eventually scored a touchdown, because traditional play calling had the 49ers dropping back in that prevent defense and the 49ers and the Lions being able to drive right down the field. And then you had that analytics question coming in again. I'm sitting there going, well, who do I want to win this game? I had the Lions as a free pick. My wife will often say to me, well, who do you have? Well, I had no skin in the game other than my free pick. But at the site, we had a couple of guys big on the Lions. We had a couple of guys big on the 49ers. And I'm going, I don't know who I really want. So I sided with the Lions because I had my free pick on them. And that mattered probably to a lot of you. But again, at the end of that game, you had about minute 40, and the Lions had all 3 timeouts. And I get it. You're down in the red zone. You want to get that touchdown then. But in reality, what's the success rate of onside kicks? Few and far between. I should have looked it up beforehand, but you know as well as I do, few and far between. I've always thought it's a better option when you've got all three timeouts. And remember, they had to burn one because it took them so long to get into the end zone. Just go for the field goal then and hope to play defense because you're not going to recover that onside kick. And frankly, with the way the 49ers were playing, I didn't think they had a chance, even if they had a minute 35 to go, burned all three timeouts. I thought the 49ers would surely get a first down. One thing I will say about the 49ers yesterday, that was the first time I saw them play like the 49ers team that started the season 5-0, like the 49ers team that kicked the hell out of Philadelphia in revenge. That's the best I saw them play in that third quarter and early in the fourth quarter because they got punched in the mouth. They got off the canvas, to use a boxing analogy. And when they reeled off that 27 points, that's the 49ers team that I picked to go in the Super Bowl prior to the season. And I still had confidence that they would get back to the Super Bowl, even when they lost the 3 games prior to the bye, even when they struggled and got the hell beat out of them at home against Baltimore. And I'll tell you what, today, January 29th, and I may change my thoughts here, 13 days from now. But right now, I still think they're going to win the Super Bowl because I am still not impressed with Kansas City. I've spoken. Okay, let's get to your complimentary plays here. Interesting game here between Oklahoma City and Minnesota. Both teams coming off losses, bad losses. The Thunder are 2.5 point favorite. Both teams are 32-14. They lost the first meeting back on November 28th by 3 points at the Target Center. They won 129-106 at home on December 26th. That began the 7-game home winning streak they bring into this game. They won again by 5 points at the Target Center back on January 20th. This is the Thunder's only their second home game since January 13th. Now, they had a 5-game winning streak snap with yesterday's 120-104 loss at Detroit, a game in which they just decided to play absolutely no defense. But let's remember, this is a Thunder team that has been playing so damn well. Yesterday, just nothing went right for them at Detroit. And a long time ago, when I was a reporter, an NBA Hall of Famer told me that no team simply gets up every single game, that they just can't do it. And the minute he told me that, I was even gambling a little back then. Yeah, I was in college then. And it always influenced my betting. And I've always remembered that because sometimes the emperor really isn't wearing any clothes. And you'll have to remember that when you place your wagers and analyze games. Now, meanwhile, this is a team that won 107, or I'm sorry, Minnesota. They lost 113-112 at the Spurs on Saturday. It's another game that Chris Finch, the Minnesota head coach, criticized his team for their lack of defense, their hustle, their immaturity. And remember, this is a Minnesota team that only won by 2 points at Brooklyn on Thursday. They're only 2-3 in their last 5 games overall. Mike Conley has missed 3 of the last 4 games. First, he was ill, now with a hamstring issue. Conley is questionable tonight. Conley, out of that lineup, Minnesota is a different team. I'm going to go with Oklahoma City at home to rebound here. Now, does Minnesota have a huge advantage in terms of on the boards because Oklahoma City is not a good rebounding team? Absolutely. Because with Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns against a very skinny 7-footer in Chet Holmgren, that's their advantage. But the Thunder should be able to run them off the floor. They play at a much faster pace, and I think that is the Thunder's advantage here in this spot. So I like Oklahoma City minus the 2.5 points. You've got Denver minus 4 at home against Milwaukee. Now, the Nuggets have pretty much owned the series, winning 9 of the last 10 straight up, dating back to the start of the 2018 series. And my God, they've covered 4 of the last 5 at home in the series. This is a team that's 18-4 straight up at home this year. Average margin of victory, nearly 10 points a game. Milwaukee on the road, 11-9 straight up, 8-12 against the spread. This is Doc Rivers' debut tonight. Now, as you know, he's their 3rd coach in about a week. The interim coach served 3 games after Griffith was fired. Yes, they have won 7 of their last 9. But they have also failed to cover 11 of their 14 games, including 6 in a row. Denver is going to play some defense tonight. And I think that is going to be the key. Did Denver play well after returning from a grueling road trip in that win against an injury depleted Philadelphia team the other night? No. They barely beat the 76ers, even though Joel Embiid, Ty Maxey, and Tobias Harris was out. They played lousy. I think the Bucks will have their attention tonight, and I'm willing to lay the 4 points with Denver because, again, the Bucks are a team that struggles defensively, and you never know what you're going to get from Milwaukee night in, night out. That is the problem, and that's one of the reasons that Griffin was fired. And just because Doc Rivers was brought in, it's not going to change overnight. Now, of the two plays, I certainly like the Thunder more. So Oklahoma City would be by far the favorite of the two. So that'll do it for Monday. I wish you well, guys. Again, let me just remind you, subscribe to the channel because on days that I don't do a video report, you will find my free picks over on the website, DeMarcosports.com. Over in the top section of the site, you'll see a menu bar. Under it, free picks, and that's where you will find either my college or NBA selections. So if you subscribe to the channel, down there in the corner, you'll always be alerted when the video reports are posted here on the site. And if I don't have a video, you'll find my free picks over there. I usually post them between 2 and 3 o'clock Eastern time. I always like to wait on NBA days when I'm leaning toward the pros for when the league releases their injury report. Good luck, everybody, and we'll talk again soon.